Hello, and welcome to Piano Tech Radio Hour, the weekly bridge to the future of the piano tech community. I'm David Anderson.
And I'm Ethan Janney. And we're here to ask great questions, and then we'll shut up and listen to some of the authorities, experts, and most outstanding personalities in our little world of pianos.
So, put on your best set of headphones, and let's get started.
Welcome, everyone.
Here they come.
Piano Tech Radio Hour, your weekly bridge to the future of the piano industry.
Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday.
Maybe Sunday.
Welcome.
It's great to have you all here. So, I'll give an introduction here, and we're going to get off to the races. I may have to cut out a little bit today's session. My father, he's a bit sick right now, so I'm trying to be with him. But yeah, in today's episode, we have Melanie Brooks, and it's going to be quite a blast. I think I might start out by showing a video that she shared, maybe give a little bit of background on Brooks Piano, something that they made to tell their story recently. But before we get into that, I'll just remind you that Piano Tech Radio Hour is brought to you by Piano Technicians Masterclasses, and we bring you the world's greatest instructors and personalities in the piano tech industry right to your living room. We're actually putting on a conference in December, and we're adding confirmed instructors that are really excellent. We've got Arlen Harris is officially confirmed for the event. We have Alex Kirsten from Steingraber, who actually came. Steingraber came on a previous episode. Udo himself came on a previous episode of Radio Hour. So it's looks like a great conference, and just for a couple more days, you can get it at an extremely great rate. So we'll put a link in the chat about how to get in there, and we look forward to having it be, really the first major online piano technicians convention. It's going to be pretty cool, and we'd love to have all you participating. So without further ado, do you guys want to say anything before I'm going to show a little bit of this video, and we can cut it if we feel like, there's a point at which we've seen enough of it. But I'll go bring it up here, and we can check it out in 1 minute.
I would love to see it.
And feel free to cut it. I mean, it was meant for a different purpose. I just thought a lot of times people want to kind of see what's inside. Like, where is it you actually are, and that type of thing.
I'm deeply curious.
And it's going to be nothing like you think.
Cool. Well, I'll get it started. Let me know if there's any issues with the video itself. It might be a little choppy playing these videos through Zoom sometimes. You should get the video, audio, and Melanie or David at any point, through the middle of it, if we want to say, oh, we really want to get to talking, anybody can feel free and chime in. But let me bring that up here. Make sure everybody's looking at, and I'll hit play, and we'll check it out.
Oh, wow.
Hey, I'm Melanie. Welcome. Let me give you a sneak peek into our little world. Hey, welcome to Brooks. I'm Josie. So y'all may think we work in a piano shop here, but ironically, the only piano that we have in our shop is my grandfather's little spinet over here.
Pianos have been an integral part of my family legacy. My paternal grandfather was a piano technician. My father is an RPT, and my mother is also an RPT. One of my sisters was formerly trained at University of Western Ontario as a technician, while the other worked at Brooks for some years. My paternal great-grandfather worked for Pratt Reed, and it was Pratt Reed that supported my mother's immigration from England into the U.S. during World War II. I have a huge gratitude for this instrument, literally supporting my family for 5 generations. Above is the Wall of Fame, a variety of awards. My grandfather and my mother's tuning hammers, it appears Wally stole his recently. PTG has played an important part in all of our lives, personally and professionally. My folks, John and I, have held positions both locally and nationally. Josie is a PTG rat too, daughter of Bill Davis, RPT, Southeast Regional Vice President. John, Wally, and I have been Institute Directors for the annual convention. Presently, I'm acting as President of the PTG Foundation, and we fully support this organization. We've been in business now for over 40 years.
In 1979, Wally and Vivian started Brooks Limited, and in 2009, I bought the business from them. In 2015, we moved to this new building. We took a lot of time thinking about the layout and design that we wanted that worked for us, and we've had great success in this building. So now I'm going to hand you off to Josie, and she and John are going to show you the inner workings of Brooks Limited. Come on, I'll show you around.
I manage the general office as well as being a technician here. I take care of most of your upright projects, and I'm also here to help out in the shop when things get busy. So let me give you a peek at what happens once we've let you know that your samples have arrived. This is John Gallen, our production manager and resident hammer guru. John analyzes each and every set of samples that come through the door with the same care and attention. We do everything on this end to ensure the products you're receiving are the best match for the instrument, the player, and the environment. We'll discuss the details of your project directly with you to recommend the best product available to you, a variety of special service options. We can even help troubleshoot installation issues.
John Gallen from Brooks Limited.
We're here to help you complete your work efficiently and to the best of your ability. Weight control is one of the most important aspects of replacement hammers. Target weights are determined during analysis of your samples, and we work with you to make the right choice for each and every piano you work on. Your samples ensure we've got the right measurements to customize your parts and to find the best match from our extensive stock. We've got shanks and flanges for just about every kind of piano made to Brooks Limited specifications by the Abel Hammer Company. Steinway type shanks and flanges in 6 different dimensions to help match or improve touch weight and playability, and 4 different dimensions of unbored shanks and flanges for that oddball action you inevitably come across from time to time. Various hammer choices are also always in stock and ready for customization or to ship to your shop for duplication. We continue to work closely with the Abel family to improve our current products and to develop new ones as more generations of pianos come onto the restoration market. We take real pride in the development of the Encore WB Natural Felt Hammer, our Brooks Ltd specialty hammer, which has been developed for consistency right out of the package and easy voicing up or down. The technician's choice for bringing out the best sound in pretty much any instrument. We carry grand and upright hammers in various specifications, from uncut blanks for full customization to cut and coved standards in 15, 17, 19, even 14-pound light hammers and concert naturals. And don't forget your whippins. We have in-stock product for Encore Steinway type whippins by Abel, Steinway, Mason & Hamlin, and Universal whippins by Tokiwa that are fully customizable. We can even assemble them for you with heels glued and flanges pinned. Just send along that sample too. We've listened to your needs over the years too, and for those particular situations, we've got a small stock of genuine Steinway product and also Ronson Weikert felt hammers ready for customization. We're here to help you with your special orders too. If you need particular product for a specific job and you want us to service it for you, you can have it sent directly to us or we can source it for you. We've spent 40 years developing the right relationships with our suppliers for in-house products like Tokiwa Action Parts and Wessel Nickel & Gross composite parts, our wide variety of Abel product, our newest editions of Steinway and Ronson. We aim to have the right products for the job, either here in-house or on the way, ASAP. Our business is technician driven. We have seen changes to our services and products over the years, all driven by our collaboration and communication with you. As we have learned more about the industry and the industry has changed, we've changed too, adding additional products and the tools we need to provide the custom services that best serve you and your projects. So, once your samples are analyzed, we've discussed any special needs with you, and we've worked with you to select your products and services, your customization begins. Each set of hammers can be bored, tapered, and tail shaped to best suit the project, and that can be done for your existing shanks or for new shanks and flanges. And of course, for our best known pre-hanging service, your hammers, shanks, and flanges fully assembled and ready for installation and regulation. Now that's a time saver. We are even equipped to fully taper a whole or partial set to help meet those target weights or to assist in clearance issues. So now you've seen the shop side of our operation, but there's more. Brooks Limited has a long-standing relationship with Pianos Bolduc and the Bolduc family in Canada, a premier supplier and manufacturer of highest quality soundboards and wood products for the piano industry. We carry pin block material, ribstock material, bridge capping, and even some specialty tools like touch weight scales and carbide router blades and drill bits. We're also here to broker your soundboard needs. Anything from one custom board to 30 plus soundboards for Steinway, Baldwin, Mason and Hamlin pianos, and more. Just let us know what you need and we'll have it shipped directly to your shop, and usually within 2 to 6 weeks. Brooks Limited is also a distributor of a full line of damp chaser products. We ship same day on in-stock orders placed before 2:30 p.m., so go ahead and schedule that installation appointment. We'll always do our best to get product to you in short order by the most cost-effective means possible. We understand your business and we're here to serve you. Never hesitate to ask us about shipping options. We'll always do our best for you.
As you can see, we are a small operation. We're here, simply put, to make your job easier.
Our custom services save you time and money.
Your feedback is the key to our success. Our conversations make improvements and innovations happen.
We want to get to know you and your business so we can best serve you.
Welcome to Brooks.
Come back soon.
Wow.
Nice preface.
That's really
thorough.
good, man. Yeah. It's perfect for piano technicians.
Yeah.
The nerds that are all of us, we want to see that stuff.
Well, I feel like it's really, most people don't get an inside view of what's going on. And, I'm quite certain people think that we work in this huge rebuilding shop or that type of thing often. But in fact, that has changed. Wally did have a rebuilding shop, and that's kind of how we started. And we did start in that, but it's migrated out of that. And, what we actually do is really honed down so much because of the need of technicians, that we're, really polarized to exactly what we need to get done.
And talk about how your business has been, especially over the past, let's say, year.
We have been in business since 1979, and I would say John and I have worked together now for 26 years. So I know, which is crazy. We joke because I think I've spent more time with him than my husband and with his wife, But business is extremely consistent. It is amazing to me that over the years, things can stay so consistent as far as our business goes, when you think about how it actually happens, when people actually have to find pianos and technicians have to get out there. But we have continued over many, many years to really stay steady. I mean, this is not a fast growing business. It changes a little every year, and we see differences in what it is we're actually selling. But we have remained extremely consistent. Over COVID, obviously, we were all hit like everyone because technicians are our source of income. And not being able to go into homes, obviously, everybody was shut down at the beginning. However, I have found technicians are and have always been resourceful. We have always made it through every recession. And when COVID hit, it was just apparent that technicians did exactly what I thought that they would. And that was in those late weeks of February and March. Work started pouring in, and we were super, super busy. And that piano that you've had in your garage or your shop or your back room that you were gonna get to, I think that a lot of people just realized, they weren't sure what they were going to do, and technicians took advantage of the situation and ordered product in order to prep that project that they'd had sitting there for a long time. And we saw a huge push in the very beginning, and then obviously we all slowed down, and we sell damp chaser products as a part of our business, and that got put on hold. We were really hopeful at first. I thought we were going to be able to get all of our university work done in a really nice progress, because I thought, oh, the universities are closed, they'll let the technicians in, and the technicians will be able to get all of this work done. That didn't happen for us, and as I'm sure you guys have also understood, because they weren't letting people in. But we were down like everybody else, probably down like 20% at least. And then recently, I would say by midsummer, we were seeing work again. And we recently, I think with all of the fall appointments that people would have even had scheduled, before COVID, we've seen a huge push, and we have been very, very busy, like I would say for the last month. And now we're down about 5 to 10% over last year. So you guys are great. and you continue to find work. And I think with the whole COVID situation, my feedback has been, first of all of the piano teachers see what kinds of pianos their students are playing on, and have pushed for them, or their parents to put some money into their pianos, knowing that they're not going to be able to play if their piano doesn't work. Right. And then I think individual players have found the little gift we've had with COVID of time to practice and play and enjoy.
And our database has reflected to us, our clients, our precious clients have reflected to us that when you play more, you hear more and you feel more.
Yeah.
So they want their pianos more like a recording now than they ever have before, which means they're not spending money on going out to dinner or doing this. So spending $150 on voicing your piano is like, yeah, of course I'll do that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And our shop has been very busy of recent, I think because of that, because people are prepping for being shut down again, and they want to make sure that their instrument is at the top of its game before they get there. I don't know how the technicians feel about this, but that's been our, small view into the industry.
So let's just use your 35 years or some crazy amount of time in the piano business, like really deep in the heart of the piano business, and see, when you get ready to retire in another 30, 35 years, what do you see as going on? What do you see as the living, beating heart of the piano community? Same as now? Talk about that.
I think this industry is sustaining. I think it will be sustaining. I think it'll be even more sustained after COVID. Again, because people have realized what some of the true value in life is, and where to find happiness, and where to support themselves in just staying well. And I kept thinking when I very first started, so I'm an economics and business major. When I first came, I lived overseas for 6 years. I used to work for Ernst & Young. I worked for the Financial Times for a little bit. I never, ever was going into the piano industry. And when I came back, my parents were in this little business that we do. And I kept thinking to myself, literally having conversation with Wally, like, but it's gonna run out. I mean, like, it's gonna run out. You can't keep selling like the pianos are gonna run out, But the reality is it's not. I mean, there were thousands and thousands and thousands of pianos made over the years. And even in this this day and age where, you know, we're like, more people are concerned about the phone than their instruments. There are still avid players, and people still want their children to learn how to play. And I think that this business is sustaining, and it will continue to sustain. Taking it to a different level, I think what's really happening is just the technical skills of piano technicians have changed so much, so dramatically. And all of these opportunities like this are driving our field to do better and better and better work. And I've seen that happening over 30 years that I've been in the business. And I'm always fascinated to continue to see that, not only physically seeing it happen, but the drive of technicians to continue to want to do better and learn more. I think that we're really gifted with this industry to see that happening in front of our eyes, and people striving to do better.
I think that's absolutely right. And I think you can see the same rise in build and tool quality in other little domains too. The car domain, same thing. These little other domains that people work in, it's been the same rise. But in the piano business, from when I started and now, the general knowledge of a piano technician is, of the piano technicians that I interact with, which are mostly from the guild and pretty good piano technicians, is just an order of magnitude greater.
Yeah.
So much more care about artisanal work and how you do things and whether you're using the best practices.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much of a tradition bound, almost like dogma bound thing. Well, this is how we do it. I mean, my God, when I started 25, 30 years ago, nobody was rebuilding actions like they are now. Nobody was doing the geometry work and the mechanical engineering work that they're doing now. Very few.
So
actually, let me cut in quick before you go into that, Melanie. Just need to give a shout out to the people watching us on Facebook, YouTube. We're going to be signing off the live stream there. So if you do want to join us in the Zoom chat, we put a link in the Facebook and YouTube chat, so you can join us here, and we'll see you in a minute. But going back to your point there, David, talking about people getting into rebuilding actions and so on and so forth. Melanie, what did you have to say on that?
So the reason that Brooks Limited exists is that my father was trying to fulfill a need of his own. He was a piano rebuilder, and so the way it very started was actually with pin block material, because he could order one pin block, or he could order 4 in a panel. And so it was much cheaper to order the 4 panel, but he couldn't afford it. So he bought the 4 panel and sold 3 panels of it, 3 blocks out of it, and would install the 1 block on his own. And then with the action parts, so I don't know anybody out there who might know the names either Frank Stopa or Steve Jellin. Steve Jellin was my father's mentor as far as rebuilding goes. And Frank Stopa worked at the Somer/Pratt Reed factory. And I live in Connecticut. The factory is in Iverton. And it used to be, when you rebuilt a piano, there were not replacement action parts. So what you had to do was to get action parts from a manufacturer, and then you modified the action to fit the parts in order to make it playable in a rebuilt piano. And it was because of that experience of doing that my father and other technicians started creating replacement action parts to go into specific pianos. So that's sort of the way that got started. And then it's been driven year after year after year for better quality, for more product, that type of thing.
And did Brooks Limited hang hammers and do custom retrofit work from the beginning, or did that start at some point?
No, so it was really a rebuilding business, which, my father was a rebuilder. And so he was at that time, I think, and I might be wrong, but I think at that time in 79, early, mid to late 70s, there were only like 4 or 5 people actually replacing soundboards and doing complete soundboard
That's right.
Reproduction. And so it started with that, and then the company kind of developed on its own. He was friendly with the Diefenbachs, and then he started getting Tokiwa product. And then from there, we actually started in 81, 82, we made an alliance with Abel Hammer Company.
And how did that come about? Just a relationship between Wally?
Okay, so I'll just interestingly, I was never going into this business, but in hindsight, when you look, I was along for the ride at every step of the way. So my father used to sell Newtone hammers from the Newtone factory in England. My mother was English. My parents had gone over on a trip. They started selling, they went to the Knight factory. They started selling Newtone hammers in the US, early 80s, I think. And I studied abroad in England. I lived in London for 3 years. And when I went over, I stayed with the Knight factory. The people who owned the Knight factory. But didn't think anything of it. I just was there. And then later on, I lived in Holland, and that's when Wally had met Norbert Abel and his father. And I was on a trip with my parents from Amsterdam down to Switzerland, and we stopped to visit the Abel factory. My father had gone to the Abel factory to meet up with
in Germany, correct?
Yep. And it's actually in, oh my gosh, you have to do that to me, right? It's not Nuremberg, but I'm sorry. I know Alex is on here. I saw him sign on. He might be able to chime in, but Frankenhart is where they are. So then we were selling hammers, and Wally was using
Newtone hammers.
I'm sorry. We used Newtone hammers, and then we started developing our own products with Abel, and we're selling Abel hammers.
Okay.
And then we were they were selling Tokiwa shanks and flanges, and this is the story that my father tells, so we'll take this tongue in cheek. I'm not exactly sure this is how it happened, but my father was placing an order for Tokiwa, and when he pushed the fax button, it didn't go to Tokiwa, it went to Abel. And Helmut Abel contacted my father and said, "We can do this. Let's do this." It was for shanks and flanges. And that started our relationship with Abel of developing our own line of shanks and flanges, and building off of that to, we started with just a few types, and then we just continued as our business developed to add more and more styles and types that would fit the replacement parts that were necessary on the market.
And that's when Encore Parts started?
That was when Encore Parts started. And again, I was on the way. I was there. My father had come to visit me in Amsterdam, and I went to visit. We met we were actually, went on a trip and met to buy some equipment to build these things and everything. And so, yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So.
And I was still never going into this.
Yeah. And never going into the piano business. Too cheesy and little small time, right? So now you're a recognized, iconic kind of personality in the piano business in our piano community. So, what do you have to say to other people that have your same kind of alpha energy and entrepreneurial kind of, attitude, who want to come in and do something like that in the piano business today, who want to be great craftspeople, but who also want to make some money?
One of the biggest things that I have found with piano technicians is that they don't necessarily have that alpha that I carry. And so I find for a lot of technicians, it's difficult for them to own their own worth and to just take it to on the one hand, you need to be sure that you are doing your best work and that you are doing good work and that you continue to grow within your work and your skills and your aptitudes. But on the other hand, you need to be confident and take the work and the risk that it takes in order to own it, basically.
Hey, Mel?
Yes. I'm here.
Hi, this is Paul in University of South Carolina.
Yes. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. My son went there,
How's the cot business for parts and stuff?
Right now it's very, very slow still.
Yeah.
There are a lot of places
I'm
that
totally cut. I have 10 pianos that I need. I love the oval.
Yeah.
And I've done a lot with them, and now I can't do any. So
that's the one area of the industry that
on broken arms all the time. And
yeah.
What area are you talking about, Melanie?
He's in South Carolina.
I know, but what area? What can't he get?
I can't. Well, I don't have money for parts.
He can't get into the universities because they're still restricted.
There's funding restrictions.
Cut just in the School of Music.
Yeah. Got it. Wow.
Yeah. And just like the entire industry of entertainment, it's being hurt so badly. So many singers and players and performers, all of those performances are just, public performances are not happening. I mean, that side of our business is very detrimental.
We have recitals, but there's nobody allowed into the halls, and they're streaming. They're still happening, but the poor practice rooms are just, they've been pounded for years, and I've replaced a few actions, and there's dozens more I need to do. And can't do it.
I know. We have definitely been hit. That's the piece of our own business that we see is missing. There are some schools that have been able, whether they're letting their technicians take their actions out or what, I'm not exactly sure how they're doing that, but there is a small group of schools that we have seen, but overall, that's definitely the place that we've been hit hardest.
How about the all Steinway schools? I guess if it's a Steinway school, you have to buy all Steinway parts.
Exactly. That also, so we do carry a small quantity of genuine Steinway product that we do work on, but the factory had been shut down for a really, really long time, and we're just starting to get some product in that's available for that situation.
Rebuilders in my part of the country in Southern California have been waiting months for parts. If people insist on genuine Steinway parts for whatever.
Yeah. So we carry genuine Steinway hammers and shanks and flanges in very small quantities for that reason, because there are certain situations that people have to use them. To be honest, quite honest, I think most technicians would choose to use something else I feel like they can manipulate the hammers better and end up with a better product. But well, we all know what the huge push with the Steinway is. I had back orders from February, and they finally have been fulfilled in the last 2 weeks. So they are producing some product now, and it is going out in dribbles.
And
we're not an all Steinway school, and neither was I at University of Nebraska. I put obels on a lot of our Steinways, Mason Hamlins, even a couple Yamahas. They come out beautiful. Yeah. And, you know, the fact that I just can't get any is very frustrating.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Look, really good pianos, well-made piano hammers with good felt, man, those are going to improve the sound of any piano.
Absolutely.
Indeed.
You know, any piano.
Absolutely.
So I'm fascinated how you worked with Norbert Abel on the Encore hammers and how you worked on your own hammers, like what you took from, what kind of data points. I'm sure it was the relationships you had with the technicians that were ordering parts with you.
Yes. So we started with a standard Abel product, and through feedback.
You had testers? You had people that you sent?
Yeah, exactly. We had testers, and to be honest, I wasn't part of the early stuff, our early parts of that, so I don't know all of the people who did that. But with Wally, we tested many hammers, and one of our goals was to create something so Abel hammers lean to being bright, and we were looking for something with a rounder tone. And so we worked really hard with them, and they attended some seminars, and they did a lot of work on their own trying to figure out with felt manufacturers how to develop a more sustainable felt that was more resilient. And basically they came up with the natural felt, which is our signature hammer. And basically that is a hammer that doesn't have any hardener or so when the felt is cleaned, usually it's done in an acid wash. When the wool for the felt is cleaned, it's usually done in an acid wash to wash out the pieces of natural material, prickers and sticks and other things that get into the wool. And it's usually done in an acid wash, which will eat away at that. But when it does that, it takes away a little bit of the coating of the actual pieces hair. So they worked really hard, and they attended several seminars within the EC, and they created with their felt factory a natural wash on how to wash the biodegradable parts out of the wool without damaging the fibers, causing it to be much more resilient. And if you've ever seen an Abel hammer, which I don't have, you can actually see the layers of the strands going around when the felt is laying out. So it's much more easily needled. And although it's still a firm hammer that would air to the center, if you're from the center, it would air to the bright. It's really easily manipulated with needles and can be opened up easily and brought down easily.
And has the lineage of that excellent, or that ease of handling, as it just raised and raised as time goes past, does it get better?
So I'm not going to say that it gets better, but what's happening is technicians are getting better technicians have definitely, skills have improved on voicing in particular over the years. So different people want different things. And so the Obel natural felt hammer is an extremely versatile hammer. It can be easily brought up. It can be easily brought down, injected with hardener. It could be made bright. So that has definitely worked towards our success. A lot of technicians have changed. I don't know if they've changed their preferences or just that we're working with technicians who have different preferences than we weren't working with before. There has been some movement towards something that airs to the soft side and gives the technician more control, I guess, or ability to build hammers up. For instance, like a Weichert type hammer.
Right.
I would personally, we sell Weichert hammers as well. But I would say if you were to think of the center line, the natural felt hammer airs to the bright side and you would needle down. The Weichert hammer airs to the softer side of neutral and you would be building it up. So
yep.
Having the ability to have both of those hammers in our stock has allowed us to meet technicians' needs better, because if you are more adept at voicing a certain way, then we have the ability to meet your voicing needs. I think, obviously most technicians who are at the stage where they are repetitively hanging, putting new hammers in or whatever, have developed these voicing skills. I think the natural felt hammer is like the perfect hammer for somebody for their first, second, third time for hammer hanging, because they have a fairly round tone. They're somewhat, towards neutral, and they also make tone immediately when you put them in the piano, which some other hammers don't. You actually have to build tone in order to get it. So for us, I think this is definitely by far our most successful product. And that being said, we still are a very technician-driven company. So things change according to our clientele. And so when our clientele wants certain things, we're reaching and working with them. We're presently working with the Obel Hammer Factory to make a softer hammer. We have done some in the past and they ended up being too soft. And the one thing that's excellent about the Obel natural felt is when it comes out of the package, you know what you're going to get. And what you get this time pretty much is what you're going to get the next 10 times you order the product. So you know where you're starting. When you have a softer hammer, you don't always have that. So it's not as consistent when you put it onto the piano. You don't know where you're starting, and you may have the skills to build it up. But if you're doing, I don't know, if you were in a university like Paul, keeping that same type of hammer on all of the pianos not only allows you to work more consistently, but also when people step up to the piano, they have some idea of what they're going to expect when they hear it.
That's right. That's my experience with Renner Weichert felt hammers and basically the higher compression Ronson Weichert felt hammers and the Obel natural hammers. They're all basically, they sound right out of the box.
Yeah.
And they take way less.
Out of the box.
Say it again?
I've had great luck with Obels out of the box with very little work. And
I know, it's amazing.
His all-day class, I don't know, 10 years ago or 12 years ago when he came to Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
And so I do exactly what he told us to do. I put them on, and because I always hang, I don't like pre-hanging. And when I put them on, it's like, wow, I only have to do a little bit here, a little bit there. They're great.
I'll tell you, it's so amazing when that happens, when you get a set that's just like, wow, can you believe this? Because really, I think 10 years ago, I was putting on, world-class hammers, and I was having to just pound the hell out of them with the needle.
I put a new set of Steinway prehuns, and I have to work them and work them and work them and work them. It takes twice as long to get it ready as just hanging the obels and doing it myself.
I experienced the same thing, and just the felt that's available now through the world-class makers, Tokiwa, Renner, Abel, Ronson, that are available for retrofit, is just much better. It's much closer to playing condition right now rather than after 100, hammer sticks in the various parts of the shoulders. It just is. It's a pleasure to work with, and I think that's what we're all experiencing, just a higher quality of material to work with. That's the thing that has been so amazing over the past 20 years, 25 years. The material has just gotten better and better and better for the best tools, for the best parts. Don't you think that that's true, Melanie?
Yes, I do. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And that there's a part of the public that's educated to that now, and that really demands a good piano technician that knows about parts and pianos and the best practices, and who's really like, well, if you want a really great oncologist, for instance, for a doctor, you want a really great piano technician too that knows all about what. So
I think also when the technician can build, just like we as the supplier are building the relationship with the piano technician. I think on going on the up end from the technician to us, it's the personal relationship that has improved the product and also improves your final product. And then on the other side, the technician working directly with either the piano owner or whomever it is, it could be the university, but knowing where the piano is going to be and what the final use of that piano is also has just informed us all so much to do better work.
Well, also just the atmosphere of the relationship between piano technician and artist or player.
Yeah.
15 years ago, 20 years ago, maybe even 10 years ago, on the piano technicians forums, it was like, those artists. It was almost like a arms up relationship with artists. Now, I'll finish this thought. Now, there's a different feeling with a lot of piano technicians, especially the smart ones. It's like, let's be friends with the artists. Let's not be afraid of them. Let's not be afraid they're going to tell us and ask us to do something we can't do and show us to be idiots in front of the whole world. Let's not go there. Let's help them. Let's be their pals.
When you think about this, I mean, an action rebuild is just such a collaboration. And to your point, the technician is collaborating not only with the piano, but also the end user. Oh, no. And the more information that you can get from understanding who it is, first of all, understanding who plays the piano, but sometimes you need to also understand who pays for the job, who pays for the piano, because if you're in a venue, sometimes you'll get a really strong artist who plays in that venue often, and they want you to do a certain thing. But if they're not the only player in that venue, then you really should be talking to the person who pays and understanding the whole thing. So that's one little complication in that type of work, you know what I mean? And then you're also collaborating with us for us to, understand what should go on and helping you. We have a conversation with literally every single technician that we do an order for.
Right.
There's always a conversation that goes on, unless, you're literally writing stock spec or something like that, of where the piano is, what they're doing, how, what the technical skill level of the technician is. That can change things as well. So.
Yep. So I'm going to ask anybody else in our little party this morning if they have any questions before we have about 10 minutes left. But I wanted to ask you, it feels like your whole business model is built on relationship.
Absolutely.
And it feels like that's why you've been successful for your whole dad's term and now your term, because you're both
absolutely
skilled and interested by relationships.
I absolutely. I mean, pretty much if you've ordered from us more than once, we already know your name. And, when we pick up the phone, it's a conversation. And there's just so many wonderful people in this industry that, I really think half of these people are my friends, you know what I mean? Even if I've never met them. So.
It's so weird because I have people that I love all over the piano community that are all different kind of political and religious, stripes and points of view. And I love them. We find a way to just love each other. We find a way to honor each other because we're good people.
My father always used to tell me when I went to a piano convention, you will learn something from every person that you meet. Might have nothing to do with pianos, but you will definitely learn something. So, when I started attending conventions, I think my first convention, I was 7. It was a New Hampshire, little mini thing. But I've been to a lot of annual conventions now. I have always kept that in mind and just thought of it as a learning process. And although I'm, can somewhat easily spout, as you can see, usually I'm trying to pay attention about what I can learn from them more than what I can give to them.
Yeah. It's amazing to have a community that you can talk about that's connected ultimately by this profound love of music and what music can do, but then also moved by this profound love of the community around music, the community around pianos.
Right.
Being a piano nerd is somebody who's a real enthusiast is kind of at the heart of our business and at the heart of piano technicians that are really trying to get better, and everybody in the industry, everybody in our little community that's trying to get better. Yep. So is there anybody that has a question that they want me to read to Melanie?
It looks like there's a bunch of questions going on over on my side, but I can't, let's see. No, I guess I don't know that there's a specific question. I'm happy to take one. Personal, business, and or otherwise.
Is everybody staying healthy with the COVID?
Everyone is staying healthy with the COVID. I feel really, really blessed that I only work with 2 people in a large space. And Wally and Vivian are safe, and nobody has been sick. I honestly don't know anyone who's really been sick, personally, like in my day-to-day experience.
Our house had it, and I had to stay home, but I had no symptoms at all. So I just stayed home and watched Netflix for 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's the way it seems from the stories that I've heard as well.
I've known several people that have tested positive, several more that have gotten sick. it's a reality.
Yeah.
And it, our business, it just put it to sleep for almost 2.5 months.
I'm a little concerned about that again. Right now, people, at least in Connecticut, are allowed to go into people's homes. But as we head into winter now, I don't know exactly what's going to happen about that. We've just been closed down a little bit, and that is that we now have a 10 o'clock curfew from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m.
Yeah.
They're saying, you should be at home basically, and they've shutting all restaurants at 9:30 p.m.
They're shutting our bars and stuff down at 11, but that really doesn't make any sense because you could, if you're going to go out and drink, you could still drink from 6 to 11 and get loud. So, I don't understand it.
Yeah, I know.
So before we leave, Alan Eder has a question for you, Melanie.
Okay.
Melanie, I have had problem with seizing hammer centers in obel parts. Have those problems been remedied in manufacture?
I've never had that.
To be quite honest, I've had 3 sets in the last 8 years that have done that, and all of them have been in California. Every single one of them.
California.
And so I don't know if that has something to do with the way your humidity changes or something like that. The other issue that I have seen happened with at least one for sure of these 3 sets was that there was a player that was a very, very good player. And the music that he played was played very, very fast. And as he was playing, there was heat building up in the center. But no, I'm going to say that no, I don't have that problem. So unfortunately for Alan, I don't have an answer for that except for.
I don't get it other than this seasonal tightness in August when it's really crappy here.
Yeah.
But the rest of the year, I don't get any seasoning.
Thank you, Paul. Ethan, we have 3 minutes. Let's wrap it up.
All right. Cool. Again, apologize everyone. I couldn't be here for most of the session. My father's ill and being at his bedside here, but we really appreciate. Thank you very much, Paul.
Blessings to you.
Thank you. Appreciate that very much. We really appreciate you.
Melanie, we're so happy that you came.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, definitely, Melly. And, you're welcome back. I know you enjoy your outdoor time on Saturdays, and we appreciate you this particular day. It's like, oh, man, it was so nice out. Even here in Michigan, too.
I took a 5-mile walk, 6-mile walk this morning before I came on, so I'm good with that.
Got it out of your system. Awesome. Well, we do appreciate you taking the time and energy, and and we'll hope to have you back sometime soon and have you more involved in things. And the other thing, just to make sure, we put a link in the chat. We've got the convention coming up, and everybody, we'd love to have you be a part of it. And we'd like to kind of make history here with piano tech education by creating the first online convention. So please be a part of that. We're very excited, and we've got new instructors on board. We've got Arlen Harris. We've got Alex Kirsten from Steingraber. And we already have some great instructors, David Anderson. He's going to be teaching about temperaments. It's going to be pretty exciting, and you won't want to miss it. So make sure you hop in and sign up for that. And that's all that I have to say for today. Any other last words to sign off with, David or Melanie?
Just thank you, everyone. I appreciate your attention. Have a wonderful.
Awesome. Yeah, you're getting some applause out here.
Yeah.
So.
It's fascinating history. It's fascinating. It's a look into this community that we have in a different way. I'm really, really appreciative that you were here, my dear. And thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, again, another Saturday.
Have a wonderful day.
Of pleasure spent with you. Thank you very much. Everyone have a wonderful day.
Yep. Have a good one. I'll sign us off. Talk to y'all later.
Thank you so much for giving us an hour of your time. Remember that you can catch us live online every Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time.
That's right. Go to pianotechradio.com to register so you can interact live and ask questions of our guests.
See you next week.